Hi guys, this is Yael Verano from BSA 1A. So we're gonna do a journal entry for problem 1. Eagle Travel Service owned by Benjo Pascual engaged in the following transactions for the month of July 2020. So on July 1, Benjo invested cash of 100,000 and furniture of 22,500. So for the financial transaction effect, on July 1, there will be an increase in asset, particularly in cash and furniture, no effect on liabilities, and an increase in equity, particularly in capital. So, pagsusulat natin siya sa journal entry, ang magiging debit niya would be cash and furniture, with the amount of, sa cash ay 100,000, tapos ang furniture ay 22,500. So ang credit naman natin would be Pascual Capital. So ipag-a-add lang natin tong cash and furniture para makuha yung capital, which is 122,500. So magiging explanationan ay investment of cash and furniture. Then tapos na. So, let's move on sa July 3. Then, signed a contract list of Robinson's Realty and made a cash deposit for rent of 30,000. So, yung effect nan sa financial transaction, there will be an decrease in asset, particularly sa cash, no effect on liability, tapos decrease in equity, which is yung rent expense. So, pagsusulat natin siya sa journal entry, debit natin yung rent expense since nagbayad nga daw ng para sa rent, tapos credit ang cash. So yung amount para sa rent expense tsaka sa cash pareho lang, which is 30,000. So ang magiging explanation nito, paid deposit for rent. Proceed na sa July 5. Paid 5,000 for business brochures and calling cards. So, ang effect nan, there will be two effects sa asset, which is nag-increase sa advertising marketing expense, nag-decrease naman sa cash. Kasi nga, nagbayad nung business brochures and calling cards. So, pag nilagay natin siya sa journal entry, magiging debit nan ay brochure and calling cards. Tapos, ang magiging credit ay cash. Kasi nga, nagbayad tayo. So, for the amount, 5,000. Magiging explanation ng paid advertising marketing. Proceed tayo sa July 6. Bought office equipment on account. So, pag ang magiging effect nan, there will be an increase sa asset, particularly sa equipment. Tapos, magi-increase din sa liability, particularly in accounts payable. Kasi nga, pag sinabing on account, binayaran mo na yung office equipment. Tapos, no effect in equity. So, pag sinulat sa journal entry, ang debit niya is yung office equipment. Tapos, credit ang accounts payable. Tapos, sa magiging explanation, bought office equipment. So, yung amount nun, parehong 12,500. Yun ang mali. 12,500. Dito din. 12,500. So, remove na natin to. Nagkamali. So, proceed na tayo sa July 8. Bought office supplies and paid cash of 1,500. So, yung magiging effect nan, there will also be So, I was saying na dalawa yung magiging transaction dito sa asset kasi nag-increase siya sa office supplies tapos nag-decrease naman sa cash. So, pag nilagay natin sa journal entry, ang debit ay office supplies, credit ang cash. With the amount of 1,500. So, yung magiging explanation nan, bought office supplies. Proceed tayo sa July 10. Collected 3,000 from Mr. and Mrs. Adams for the processing of their travel papers. So, yung magiging effect nan, there will be an increase sa asset, particularly sa cash. Tapos, no effect sa liability. Tapos, increase sa equity, which is yung service revenue. So, yung pag sinulat natin sa journal entry, July 10, ang magiging debit ay cash, tas ang credit naman ay service income or revenue na may amount na 3,000. So, So for the explanation, collected payment for travel papers. Move on tayo sa July 11. Paid 1,200 for passport and other document fees. So para sa financial transaction effect, there will be an increase in asset, particularly sa transportation expense. Tapos, decrease naman din ulit sa asset ng particularly sa cash. Tapos, no effect na sa liability at saka sa equity. So, pag sinulat naman, journal entry. So, pag ilalagay nga natin sa journal entry, ang magiging debit dyan ay transportation expense. Tapos, credit ang cash. So, for the explanation, paid for transportation expense. Tapos yung amount ay 1,200. Sorry. 1,200. Proceed sa July 12. Arrange a Palawan trip for Mr. and Mrs. Brian Adams. Collected a commission of 5,000 in cash from the airline and hotel. Para sa effect, there will be an increase sa asset, particularly sa cash, no effect on liabilities, and an increase in equity para sa commission revenue. So, pag sinulat natin siya sa journal entry, debit ang cash, credit naman sa commission revenue. Explanation, collected commission payment. Collected commission payment with an amount of 5,000. Proceed tayo sa July 14. Bill DLSU professors 15,000 pesos for the processing of their travel papers. So yung magiging effect niyan, there will be an increase sa asset, particularly sa accounts receivable, no effect sa liability, and an increase sa equity, which is yung service revenue. So, pag sinulat siya sa journal entry, debit natin ang accounts receivable, credit natin ang service revenue with the amount of 15,000. So, yung magiging explanation nan, billed payment for travel pay Proceed tayo sa page 2. So, on July 15, arrange a pilgrim trip for the DLSU professors. Billed Philippine Airlines 10,000 as commission. So, yung effect niyan, there will be an increase sa asset, particularly accounts receivable, no effect on liability, and an increase in equity, particularly yung commission revenue. Pag sinulat natin sa journal entry, debit natin ang accounts receivable, tapos credit ang commission revenue. Explanation, billed payment as commission with the amount of 10,000. Proceed sa July 16. Paid salaries of employees na 12,500. So, yung effect, there will be a decrease in asset, particularly sa cash, no effect sa liability, decrease din sa equity, which is yung salaries expense. Pag sinulat sa journal entry, debit natin ang salaries expense, credit ang cash. Explanation, paid salaries with the amount of 12,500. So, on July 18, paid 1,500 as transportation expenses for the processing of papers to and from DFA, National Census, and the airline companies. So, yung effect nan, there will be a decrease in asset, particularly sa cash, no effect sa liability, and decrease sa equity, which is yung transportation expense. Pag sinulat sa journal entry, debit natin ang transportation expense, and credit ang cash. So for the explanation, paid transportation expense with the amount of 1,500. Let's proceed sa July 19. Benjo withdrew 1,500 in anticipation of profits to be earned. So yung effect nan, decrease asset, particularly sa cash, no effect sa liability, decrease din sa equity, which is yung drawings o yung withdrawals. Pag sinulat sa journal entry, debit ang Pascual drawings, tapos credit ang cash. Explanation, withdrew cash with the amount of 1,500. So on July 20, paid for passport and other document fees na 7,500. Ang effect nan, dalawang effect uli sa asset na nag-increase sa transportation expense, nag-decrease naman sa cash. No effect sa liability and equity. Pag sinulat sa journal entry, July 20, debit ang transportation expense, credit ang cash. Explanation, paid transportation expense with the amount of 7,500. Proceed tayo sa July 24, collected 5,000 pesos from Philippine Airlines. So, ang effect nan, 24, dalawa ulit effect sa asset, which is nag-increase particularly in cash, nag-decrease particularly in accounts receivable. No effect sa liabilities and equity. Pag sinulat sa journal entry, debit ang cash and credit sa accounts receivable. Explanation, collected payment with the amount of 5,000. Tama ba? Proceed tayo sa July 27. Build Golden Talent Agency for processing of papers na 10,000. Ang effect nan, there will be an increase in asset, particularly in accounts receivable, no effect sa liability, and an increase in equity which is yung service income or service revenue. Pag sinulat natin sa journal entry, July 27, debit natin ang accounts receivable, credit ang service revenue. Explanation, bill of payment for service income with the amount of 10,000. Proceed tayo sa last. Paid 3,000 to PLDT and 4,500 to Meralco. Paid also 12,500 for salaries. So, ang magiging effect nan, there will be a decrease in asset, particularly sa cash, no effect sa liabilities, and decrease then in equity, particularly sa utilities and salaries expense. So, pag sinulat sa journal entry, debit tayo sa utilities expense, tsaka salaries expense. Tapos credit ang cash. Explanation ay paid expenses. With the amount of 7,500 sa utilities kasi pinag-add natin yung 3,000 to PLDT tapos yung 4,500 to Meralco. So, lagay natin sa utilities ay 7,500 tapos 12,500 naman sa salaries. So, pag-add lang natin sila para makuha yung credit sa cash na 20,000. So, that will be all for the journal entry for problem 1. Thank you for listening.